It is. I know it's hard to believe, hard to credit it, or even consider the possibility that it is another week in the life of who knows what, who knows where. 3 people watching already and 1 like, and I haven't even started. That's just amazing. It's just fabulous. Everybody's here for me. Hello. Hello very much, Philip. And hello very much, me. And hello, our Fingal. Happy Still Above Ground Week. Yes, exactly. Woo! It's so fun that we're all still here and all just about alive, except for the people that aren't, of which there are many, but it's not us, so let's just be thankful. Yay! Hello everybody, let's be thankful that we are still here. Should we be thankful for that? Maybe it would be a relief, but we are still here. I don't know. I saw a theory. It was actually a severance theory. I don't know whether you've been watching that. It's not a spoiler. It's not actually to do with that. But, you know, the whole thing about the underworld and the overworld. A theory that we're actually all just sent here as severed employees. Not actually, and we're just like living our lives. And the real us is out there somewhere going, yeah. At least that's not me doing all that stuff and having a lovely jolly old time of it, letting us do all the awful terrible things. So that was the theory. I can't remember who it was. I think I've just been watching a lot of stuff about things like that. There's not much in life, but there is that, and there is. Started watching The White Lotus. We cancelled Sky TV because it's really expensive. But my mother couldn't live without Murdoch Mysteries, so we got it back on Now TV at about £6 rather than 33. We're actually paying £139 for Murdoch Mysteries, but now we're paying £6.99, and so I'm also watching The White Lotus. Yay! So that's quite a lot. Even if we got it back, in order to watch the Murdoch Mysteries, which is on Alibi, which is apparently a premium plus channel. So is it worth really £70 to £139 just to watch a Canadian detective series that seems to have been on since the beginning of time? I don't know whether you're aware of it. I think it started in 1899, probably literally. No, the actual series, the actual narrative, it's a Canadian detective who I think was originally a prospector for gold, and he turned to detectivising, and he married somebody, and she doesn't seem to be in it anymore. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't watch it, but I go in and watch my mother watching it and go, oh, this is still on. And the latest series has got the opera from the I can't remember what it's called. There's a Canadian thing about a corner store, and the guy that runs the corner store. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it's set in Toronto, and he's the patriarch, and they have adventures, and anyway, I think Simu Liu is in it as the son. Am I wrong about that? I probably am. Anyway, that guy. He's got a massive beard in this new Murdoch Mysteries, a massive beard, and he somehow looks younger than he did in that series, which is weird because it's several years on, and he's got a big grey beard in the new one. But I'm like, oh, that's that guy from that thing. What the hell was that called? I don't know. If you can recall it, let me know in chat. But it was very good and very funny, and it was on about the same time as Schitt's Creek, but it wasn't Schitt's Creek. It was something else instead, but it was also Canadian, cause Canada makes the best TV shows. I don't know whether you agree with me, but Atlantis was shot there. Even though it was American, it was mostly Canadian, and David Hewlett is Canadian, and other people are Canadian, and most of the people in Stargate were Canadian, but they were pretending to be American, or from outer space sometimes, but they were not from outer space, and they were not from USA, they were from Canada, I don't know why I said Canada. It's obviously Canada. Canada! Yay, oh Canada. I like Canada. I've been to Canada precisely one time, but it was great. And I feel I know everything about it. And it wasn't Toronto, it was Vancouver. So I don't know whether you can know everything there is. I flew all the way over Canada. So I know everything about Canada because I came over the North Pole and I flew down and I flew over the whole of Canada. And so I was there for a week. And I was trying to visit the TV shows and because I was working for a TV magazine. So I thought I'll go there and I'll interview all the people from the TV shows. But I told you this story before. But they sort of wrap up filming in about April, and it was about April, so they just about finished. They were sort of hanging around still, but I missed the whole set visits thing. So the person that persuaded me to go there was like, "Oh no, you can come and stay with Amanda Tapping, who is Canadian. She'd let you stay with because she was friends with Amanda Tapping, who's in Stargate, and she let you stay with her." "Oh yes," I said, "I'll come." And then I got there and it's like, no, Amanda Tapping doesn't like journalists because one got invited to her house apparently and rifled through her underwear drawers in order to try and find some dirt. Not dirty underwear, hopefully not, but and so she obviously understandably did not want to let a random person into her house, even though I was vouched for by my friend who said, no, Elise won't do that. Obviously I wouldn't do that. But it's like Amanda Tapping was no thank you very much. Anyway, that was fine. Amanda Tapping had lunch and drinks. It was dinner. It was, yeah, we met somewhere in, I tell you what, Vancouver is a lot like Edinburgh. It feels like Edinburgh. It's got the same feeling to it. It's got like hilly bits. It's not quite as many, not an old town in the same way, but there is there's not a Chinatown in Edinburgh. There is a Chinatown. So I stayed outside near the airport and I tried walking to the bus stop and I got like stopped and by like a patrolling cop going, "Why are you walking on the side," obviously with a Canadian, "on the side of the road?" I'm like, "I don't know where I am. I'm in this random place. Where's the bus stop?" He's like, "Go over there. You're a tourist. I can see. I'm not going to arrest you because I can see you don't know what you're doing. There's a bus stop over there." So I got the bus stop. I was like, "Yay, I'll get into town." So I got into town and I got on the bus. I was like, "I'm going to go to downtown." And I went all the way through Vancouver and out the other side. And we got to Chinatown. And I'm like, have I missed the downtown? And indeed I had. So I had to get back up the hill to and try and find somewhere to stay for the next night. So I stayed somewhere closer to the inside of town for the first 2 days. I was on a Holiday Inn way out, and I didn't know where I was. But I went to Burnaby as well. This is a name dropping. I went to Burnaby and I can't remember the name. It's not very good name dropping. I can't remember it. What was this? What year was this? Many years ago, years. It was I don't know, 2004, I want to say. It's like 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago today. I went to Vancouver to play and I didn't get to interview anybody because they were all gone home. Anyway, I really liked Michael Rosenbaum that was in Snowball. No, Smallville at the time. And I thought I'd get to interview him and I didn't get to interview him. But we went to Burnaby and I went to a hockey match because the TV shows like played rival so I can't remember who they were playing, but Smallville was playing one of the TV shows and then on the other side another one of the TV shows was playing somebody else. So I was looking at the Smallville match, not the other one, and I was like this, going like this to Michael Rosenbaum. I was like, Michael Rosenbaum's great. I like Michael Rosenbaum. I was like all the way through. Because I thought that it was like not like a two-way mirror. Like I thought that the people down below couldn't see the people up. So I was like, and then Michael Rosenbaum came up and he was like, because just to come out a month before, I'd been at a British sci-fi place that he was at. No, what was I? No, I'd been to MegaCon. That's it. I was like, I had seen Michael Rosenbaum at MegaCon. So he must have clocked my face because I was staying with the people that I made friends with the people from Lex. This was not in, this was actually in Florida, in Orlando. So a couple of months before, Michael Rosenbaum had seen me, and there was a load of people that were like big Michael Rosenbaum fans that I'd made friends with online. There was a thing called Television Without Pity, right? And I'd made friends with these, but I was also a journalist. So I was like between two stools. I was like in the fandom, but also in the business sort of. And I was making friends with the people from Lex, and who I hadn't watched Lex. So I was like sitting at their table as if I was part of Lex, the has nothing to do with Lex. So I was helping them sign. I wasn't signing the autographs anyway. So I was just sitting with them, biding my time, looking over at Michael Rosenbaum. So when I'd gone to Vancouver a month later, and I was like looking at Michael Rosenbaum down below, and he looked up at me like, because I think he'd be like, what? Is that person following me across countries? What on earth is going on? And I was like, and he was like, and I was like, and then, so I never got to interview him, Michael Rosenbaum, at that point. But then he came over for a British convention a month later, and a sister magazine of mine, who knew I liked Michael Rosenbaum, was like, hey, do you want to interview Michael Rosenbaum? None of us wants to. Do you want to go there? I was like, yes. No, actually, I got the timelines wrong. I'd seen him at a British convention. That's right. The first thing. I'd seen him at a British convention and then an American convention and then in Canada. And then I got to interview him. By which time I was mega embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. Because at the British convention, so very confusing. It was very confusing. I'd seen him 3 times before I actually got to meet him properly face to face. It was a face to face interview. I'd run across town. And he was eating his lunch, and I was like, because like, it took me ages to get across town. And he was like, oh, you're looking a bit sweaty. And he passed me a towel. I'm like, I am a bit sweaty. He's like, do you want something to eat? I'm like, not really. He was trying to share his chicken dish with me. I'm like, I'm fine, thank you. Let's just and I was like, oh, it was terrible the way that people would come to touch him and hug him and stuff. He's like, no, I don't mind that. And he hugged me, and I was like, and then, because I really like Michael Rosenbaum, I still do, he's great, but I was so embarrassed when I actually got to meet him that I was like, I've accidentally followed this man around the world, half of the world, by accident. Let's just like draw a line on this. It's like, so I stopped watching Smallville. I stopped watching Smallville because I was like, I can't, because I'm just gonna, this is too embarrassing. So I was like unbalanced by that point. It was like, let's pull away from Michael Rosenbaum. So that was that done. But I was in a hotel room with Michael Rosenbaum, even though I was very strange. You even know who he is? Probably not, but I do, and I liked him. And I'd seen the film Sorority Boys, and nobody else had. I've got it on DVD, in fact. I think I still have. Where 3, it's a bit like Some Like It Hot, but 3 sorority, not sorority boys. What's the other thing? The 3 college students, for some reason, get accused. I think they get accused of embezzling their fraternity's funds, and they're like, "No, what will we do?" And the obvious thing is just dress up like girls and join a sorority. Obviously, that's obviously what you do. I thought it was quite funny, and nobody else saw it, but I did see it, so that was like. I also like Michael Rosenbaum, Lex. I have seen Lex since, but I hadn't. I mean, it was because Virginia Hay is like 95 foot tall, and she's embarrassed about being so tall, and she was there, and at one point she hugged me, and I was like, knowing, because somebody had said she doesn't like being told she's tall. I think she said she's 6 foot for modelling purposes, but she seems to be 95 foot tall. That's embarrassing her. I'm not body shaming her. She just is a statuesque person. And she hugged me, and I was sort of waist high, and I was like, gosh, you are tall. And she's like, I know I am. I'm like, oh, I've messed that up, sorry. But but also Dave Prowse was there. Dave Prowse was there. I interviewed him at MegaCon, and he wanted to have his photo taken with me because I had big bosoms, and he likes big bosoms, and he told me about a film that he was on with Ross Meyer film, that he was very embarrassed about and very annoyed about because he was expecting women with big bosoms, and it was the one Ross Meyer film that didn't have big bosoms. It just had Dave Prowse in it. He is Darth Vader. He was Darth Vader. One of the Darth Vaders. Not James Earl Jones though. Wasn't James Earl Jones, he was Dave Prowse, and he wanted his picture taken with me, and he made me take I had a bag that I had across my, he was like, no, take that bag off, I want the full. So it was like, okay, so Dave Prowse at this thing where people were having, celebrities were sitting at the booths, who else was there, yeah, Star Trek people and all sorts of people, Nichelle Nichols was there, and Jamie Farr was there, who told me that always have this is way before any of this, always make sure if you're shaking people's hands that you've got antibacterial gel. And I thought that was overcautious at the time, and I told people, oh, Jamie Farr's very strange about that, but no, Jamie Farr was right. He was always right, and I should have listened to Jamie Farr because he was right. Jamie Farr was right, yes. Anyway, whatever. I've gone off the beaten track. There was the second Zed. So the main character, I can't remember her name. There was two characters. Let me know. There was a character got replaced by another actor, and so they pretended that she swapped. There's been some sort of body swapping, so they got around it. The second one, she somehow stumbled into this thing where she was selling vitamins with a man called Fred Bell. Have I told you about this? Fred Bell is not with us anymore either, so I feel all right talking about him. He's got a Pyridine. That's what his name. Pyridine was the name of his company. Fred Bell. No, the other one. Anyway, yes, maybe that one, maybe the other one. I think it was somebody else in it, not like the other one, whatever the other one was. That's it. Yes, Seberg. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, that was her, Seberg. Anyway, she was hanging around with Fred Bell, and he had a thing, and he was trying to sell things about an alien that he met, and also time travel and space travel. So I had some free books from Fred Bell, and I did not get one of his nuclear receptors, which is a massive, huge, I've told you about this, I'm sure, a massive, huge medallion with pointy bits and a big jewel in it, bejeweled thing. And apparently Wesley Snipes had bought one of these, and he was very proud that Wesley Snipes had bought one of these. But before the incident with Wesley Snipes, before he went to prison for tax fraud, it didn't stop him. It was supposed to protect you from things. It didn't protect him from that, though, did it? No, it didn't. Anyway, Fred Bell was telling me all these stories about he was reincarnated. He was a reincarnated Nazi scientist, really. And I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. And that he actually met this alien woman that Seberg, I can't remember her name. Yeah, whatever her name is. He reckoned that she was the alien woman, or the sort of incarnation of the alien woman. It was like, all right then, all righty. Anyway, I've still got the book. I found it the other day about how he'd met this Nordic alien woman, and she told him all these things. It's like, of course she did. Anyway, he reckoned he'd invented all sorts of things, and he'd been in the government when he was about 15 or 16. So it's a little bit like Severance in that he was like recruited as a child. That's a spoiler probably for Severance. And that he'd done all these things, and he knew all these Operation Paperclip scientists and everything. It was like very strange. Anyway, just to say, I have been to Vancouver. That was a long story about Vancouver, except that it wasn't really, was it? Really about Vancouver. And yeah, that was a bit off the beaten track. Anyway, a very long story about. Oh, I'm all right, thank you. Xenia, yeah, Xenia Seberg. It's so used. Exactly. I was like, oh, what's her name? Xenia Seberg. And she played a character in Legs, which I should probably watch more of. Anyway, yeah, I was sitting with the guy with the overalls and the hat, and he was like, he phoned me up in the middle of the night in my hotel room and was like, hey, do you want to hang out? It's like, no, not really. I hang out with you all day, and that was enough of that. Stanley Tweedle, exactly. She really likes Stanley Tweedle. I was sat with him all day. That's the person whose table I was sat at. Brian. I think his name was Brian, but he had a name tag that was spelt wrong that said Brain on it instead. His name tag said Brain. Ha! So that was good. How's the weather? It was quite sunny today. Quite sunny, thank you very much. It was, that's it, Brian Downey. Exactly. Brian Downey, who I hang out about. I like Brian Downey, and I'll tell you why. He bought everyone dinner every night. Every time we went to dinner, and somebody would try to pay. Oh, I'll pay. No, he said, I'll pay for everyone. And he did. He paid for everyone. It was very nice. And I think one time we were sat, one time, as if I was hanging about with him. It was only like a couple of days. It felt like a lifetime. Like we were hanging about on the roof of the Disney hotel and partying, and it was very fun. It's just like the things I did, the people I saw. I saw it feels like Blade Runner now. Blade Runner. Oh yeah, I'll just jump off the Disney hotel, and that'll be the end of that. It was fun, and I felt like I was part of the crew, the part of the Lex crew, even though I barely knew who any of them were and hadn't watched the show. But I felt like I'm all right. I'm special. Yeah. Did you meet 790? I didn't actually watch the show, so I might very well have met 790. I met several of the cast. They were there. I don't know what 790 is. I know that the main character, was it Zed? The main character with the black hair wasn't there. That guy wasn't there, but most of the rest of the cast was. I don't know what 790 is. I'm sorry. I hung out with them, and I had to pretend that I knew who the hell they were when I didn't. So it's probably just as well. I wasn't phased. I wasn't like starstruck by them like I was with Michael Rosenbaum, who was across the way, just sort of clocking my face and going, "Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? What? Why do I keep saying? Why do I keep seeing that person?" Yeah. But Robot Head. Oh, I have seen some of this. I'm like, that seems familiar. I think I must. It's a long time ago. I think I must have seen the first series before Xenia Seberg was in it. But I know of them because I was working at a TV magazine. I couldn't watch everything. I watched a lot of things, but yeah, I just had to fudge it sometimes and interview people who had no idea who they were. But, or sometimes it was before they even were famous. Like, the Battlestar Galactica. I was, Katie Sackhoff, I interviewed on the phone. So she wasn't even famous at that point. So, which is interesting, because a couple of years before, I'd met the other Starbuck. So I'd met the other Starbuck, Richard, the original Starbuck. And I'd met him at a convention in the West Country. It was an old Pontins site. I can't remember what it was. It was a TV convention, and I hung about with them, and I was talking to him, and I think we got talking about, hey, did you know that there's a remake in the works? And he was like, no, I don't think much of that. He was playing me. So that was quite interesting in that, yeah. So I met one of the Starbucks, and I interviewed another Starbuck, but only on the phone. before she was actually famous, because they had filmed it, but it wasn't over here. So maybe she was a bit famous in America already. I don't know. I can't remember the timing whether they showed it, because sometimes they show things about a year later. But I think they were still in the sort of publicity phase, so I think it was fairly quick that they showed it over here. Anyway, just to say, name dropping people I don't know. I have to ask you what their names are. Xenia Seberg and Brian Downey. Yeah, you had to remind me of this. I only knew because of the brain on his lapel. That's why I remembered him. Yeah. It was nice. It was good. I got around a bit. I've travelled the world and the 7 seas and done very little except go, oh, that's a famous person, isn't it? Woohoo! Oh, thank you very much. 99 cents. Woohoo! Thank you very much. And Ara Fingal, thank you for yours as well, which was, I think, 10 Canadian dollars. That's very nice. It's very crass to talk about money, isn't it? I will anyway. Thank you very much. It's all very helpful. Woohoo! Thank you very much. It all mounts up, doesn't it? Woohoo! It all mounts up. It's just as well as not a lot of other stuff coming in at the moment. I was going to stand for Equity Wales for the committee. For the area committee, and then I realised that you have to prove that you've earned loads of money between now and 2022. And to be honest, I have earned money in the entertainment industry, but not so much. Not so much. I didn't realise it's 5 years since lockdown. 5 years. It's flown by. I've sort of not done so much. I have gone to Edinburgh, but proving that I earned some money is not so easy. Especially last year when I didn't even ask anyone to come. I had people in my audience. It was a free fringe show. And you're supposed to go, hey, if you think my show is worth it. It's sort of like busking in. So if you think my show is worth it, give me some money. And I was like, I've got a QR code. I got a little bucket. You can put money in if you want. Okay. Yeah. And so some people paid me, but most people would be like, all right, then bye. And then some people were like, there's no internet down in the basement where you're doing your show. And I'm like, no, I know. Take a picture of the QR code. They're like, nah, it's all right. So that was not very lucrative. And this year I'm going again with my new show, which is a spoken word show that's got some of these poems. Whoopsie. Poems and things. Look, there's a picture of me I found. This is not going to be in my show, or maybe it is. Look at that. I was in a beauty contest, aged 2 or something. How beautiful. The big fat baby there. And look at that. I think that fat baby is the one that won on the other side. That one there. And I did not win, even though out of these 3 babies, I think I'm by far the best baby out of those 3 babies. I think there might have been other babies that did better than me, though. But I think out of those 3 babies, I'm the best baby. Now, I saw there was another picture of me and my brother that I haven't got it with me. A little one that was a little swing park and boating lake that when I was 7, and I'm sitting on the bottom of the slide going. And my brother's going, it looks like an album cover. He's going, and I'm going, looking very sort of. Anyway, my mum said, hey, look at this picture. My mum sees people, new actors, and she goes, who's that person? I don't recognise them. Because she thinks that they've changed everyone. She's like, I don't recognise people. They've all changed. But she saw this picture of me, age 7. She's like, you look exactly the same. I'm like, I look the same as when I was 7, do I? She's like, yes. I'm like, to be honest, I don't know. Do I look the same? This is when I was 4 or 5. I think I might have changed. I haven't got that pointy hat for a start. But, Princess and the Pea. That's what I was. This is me. All sort of bedraggled because it rained. See my wet hair? It's because it rained on me. And we weren't on like a float. I was like walking. with my mum. My mum was dressed as I know, she had like a velvet dress on, and she was dressed as some sort of courtier. I think she was trying to advertise they were doing Lock Up Your Daughters or something, her amateur dramatics thing, and they'd hired these brilliant costumes. So she was trying to get people to come to her show, and I was there as the Princess and the Pea, which was my favourite thing. And everyone used to say I was very fussy, and I was like wriggly, and I was like because I threw all the bed covers off me, and if anything was around me, I was like, too much. Anyway, so Princess and the Pea, that was me, and a reporter. This was in the paper, so a reporter, a local reporter, interviewed me and said, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Princess from Princess and the Pea." And they're like, "What's Princess and the Pea?" And I was absolutely annoyed, and I was like, "How can you not know what Princess and the Pea is, you silly idiot?" I probably said that. Nah, how do you not know what that is? Anyway, so I've not really changed that much, but I'm very annoyed. But it's like sulky. So, yeah, obviously not the same person, but you can see the pea. Look, you can see the giant pea there. It's on a cushion, so you could definitely feel that. It's massive. It's like a baseball or something. If you had a pea like that underneath your mattress, 40 mattresses or whatever, then you'd definitely be able to feel it. So much for the princess. If you couldn't feel it, there'd be something wrong with you, I would think. Anyway, a real princess can feel a pea under 400, not like a physical pea, not like PEA, that sort of pea. You what? Princess in the bowling ball. Yeah, exactly. Well, my princess is it's like, well, if you don't know the tale, you might not. It's quite an obscure one, actually. It's like a prince wants to marry somebody, but he keeps rejecting them. He's like, that one's got a snubby nose, and that one's hair is wrong, and I don't like that one, and oh, that one's terrible. So you obviously have to have a real princess if you're a prince. And he was like, well, obviously it has to be a princess, and they have to be perfect in every way. And a princess is sensitive and delicate and lovely, and a princess is this and that. So actually, this is accurate to the book, because a bedraggled person, all wet from the rain, comes to their door and goes, "I'm a princess. Can I come in for the night?" And they're like, "You're not a princess. You don't look like a princess. You look like a gutter rat. A gutter snipe." So they put the pea under hundreds and hundreds of mattresses, and they're like, "Ha ha! A real princess would be able to feel that, because a real princess is delicate." I think it must be a dried pea rather than a mushy pea. Because a mushy pea, apart from the fact they were only inventing marifat bees, a very recent development. Who'd have thought it? Fairly recent. So it was a dried pea, I would say, underneath the mattress, and the person the next night is like, "Oh, I'm black and blue all over. Look at me, I've got bruises everywhere." There must have been something in the bed, and they're like, "Aha! It's a real princess who could feel the pea under all this stuff. Aha! You shall now marry this absolutely god-awful prince guy who's very picky, and you'll probably have a hellish life. Good luck to you, because you're quite sensitive and he's a stupid ignoramus. Ha ha! A match made in heaven." That's not the end of it. It's like, hooray! She's a princess. She shall marry this horrible prince. Why would you want to? But that is, I think, the end of the story. There might be another epilogue where she's like, "Aha, you are terrible. I am going to leave you and sleep with somebody who is not so awful. And I don't care if it's a prince or not. Give me a palace guard or whatever. I don't care." Anyway, that's probably the end of that story. Really, truly. Because fairy tale endings are not fairy tale, really. It's Cinderella. Oh, I like that person with a tiny foot that I met for 3 seconds, and I'm also very picky, and I'm only gonna go out with a person and marry them. They've got a tiny foot, and I don't actually care if they're a princess or not, as long as they've got a tiny foot. Cinderella is a silly story as well. Snow White, oh, this beautiful young lady who is shunned and avoided by her slightly older stepmother because she's prettier than her. and go away. I will. You don't deserve to live because you're too pretty. It's like, that's me. And then she goes and lives with the seven dwarves, and then the prince Prince has got nothing to do with anything. Out of nowhere. Oh, she's had a poison apple bird this time, but this random prince comes and goes, oh, I'm gonna look at that pretty dead person. I'll have that. And luckily, she's not quite as dead as you think. But he doesn't know that. He's like, I don't care. I don't care. She's quiet. So that's a great fairy tale, isn't it? This is not what my show is about. Maybe it should be. I don't know. But anyway, fairy tales. Not what they're cracked up to be. Anyway, my show is going to be called Little Circus. It is set now because I've paid to go in the book, and I only paid to go in the big book, the big main book, which I haven't paid to go in for ages and ages and ages. So it's already more expensive a show than I've done for years. I still haven't paid for the accommodation and the travel and stuff like that. I still have to think about that. So I will put some money and effort into actually the show, but I've already paid to go in the book. So I better do a show, hadn't I? But it's got poems and it's going to have some sort of narrative structure. As yet, I'm not sure what, but it's called Little Circus, so it's probably going to have some sort of, something to do with something. Anyway, maybe I'll just show people this picture and go, look, it's a princess with a P. Give me money. Anyway, it's in the same venue as last year, so there's no internet, so probably, again, won't get anybody giving me any money, because this is it. It used to be, give me money in my bucket. It's like, I got no change. It's like, well, QR code for you, go give me money online. Maybe a lot of people have got like those things where you scan and you go, give me money now, but I didn't want to get that, and I also couldn't get that. I tried to get that, and it was no internet anyway, wouldn't have worked. So that was no good for that. So I'm not expecting to make any money for it. But somebody said it's not about the money. It's about putting your name out there and getting the contacts and all that sort of stuff. So again, that won't happen either. So yeah, I've done all my schmoozing 20 years ago. It didn't work then. It's not going to work now. I didn't get to interview anyone. Well, I did, Michael Rosenbaum, but that was a long time ago. And it's not something that ever happens, and it's not going to happen with my show. It's not going to happen with my show. It's not going to happen with my show. So get used to it. But I'm going to do my show anyway, and it will be because usually last few years I've been doing what is it you want? It's fallen out. I had a flyer for it in here, but there it is on the floor. I had a flyer for it. What is it you want is what I've been doing the last few years, which is I've had a selection of shows, or just what do you want me to do? It's very much like this, where it's like, what do you want me to do? I'll do that. So and mostly it's something that nobody wants, because if you've got more than one person, then there's not going to be a consensus on what you want. So it's like, well, you're just going to have what I've given you then. So that's not increasingly less successful. It was more successful the first 2 years, and it was like, yay, I've done this thing. It's amazing. But if it works best when you've only got one person, strangely enough, I mean, it doesn't work best in terms of audience cohesion, but it works best if you've got one person. They go, I want you to do this. Well, I'll do that then. I'll do that. So these did feature when I'd run out of other things. It's like, I want this or that or this. I'll do one person show about whatever, and or you can do some poems. I'll do a spoken word show. So this is the first time that I've actually done. It's gonna, from the outset, supposed to be about this, so I have to have some structure to it. I'm like, oh, I've got 5 months to do some structure. So it's half written, in that there is written stuff, but not fully written. But I have to do some actual writing. Oh no! But I'm not bothered. If nobody comes to see it, that will be fine, because I'm alright doing the show with nobody there. Just do it online. Yeah, except there's no internet, so I can't do that. I can't do it live from the Burrito and Shake because there's no internet. So not ideal. Maybe I'll record it and upload it at a later date. Except there's very little room left on this phone, which is the one I would probably be using. What can you do? But that's fun, isn't it? It's all good. So this was the longest show, wasn't it? 40 minutes of me talking about nothing and name dropping. I name dropped a lot and I forgot a lot of people's names, but well done to the names that I dropped. What were they? I dropped Jamie Farr and Nichelle Nichols, and I dropped Dave Prowse and some other people, and Brian Downey and Zelia Seaberg, who I couldn't remember, and Dr. Fred Bell, and also Michael Shanks I interviewed when I was trying to interview Michael Rosenbaum, and I interviewed Michael Rosenbaum in the end. So embarrassing. Not my friend. I would have liked him to be my friend, but it was too embarrassing by then, and he'd seen me all over the world, and he must have thought, what on earth? And then I also met Amanda Tapping, and I also met that guy that played the general, and I can't remember his name. I went to his house though, and he also paid for dinner, but I can't remember his name. If you can remember his name, then that would be great, because I can't remember it, so it's no good name dropping if you can't remember names. His name was Sir, exactly. His name was Sir. His name was Sir. But he lived in Burnaby. He is no longer with us, so I'm not doxing him because I can't remember his name and he's not there anymore. It happens to us all. Maybe it's already happened to us. Maybe we are just illusions. We are just, if the spirits have offended, think not this and all is mended. Think but this. Yes, we're not. Don Davis, that's him. Of course it is. Don Davis, the great Don Davis. He's very good. And he was in it. Major. He was a major. Well, no, he was a general. He was a general. Exactly. IMDb to the rescue. Exactly. Hooray for that. I met lots of people. And I haven't met them for a while, and they didn't help me at the time because I didn't know who they were, and they wouldn't have helped me anyway. And also, I was supposed to have breakfast with Virginia Hay, but I offended her, so I did not see her again. I think she probably thought that person is terrible, and she was probably right. She was definitely right. Many apologies to Virginia Hay, who was I don't know who else. I haven't kept up with whether people are with us anymore, but I'm sure she is. Is she? I don't know anymore. Anyway, Virginia Hay was a splendid person, and that's whatever. So yes, that's the end of that. And so Michael Shanks, Michael Rosenbaum, and Michael, somebody else who was in Hercules, the series. I also interviewed him. What was his name? I also interviewed him, but I never got to use the interview because Hercules had gone off the air by the time that I met him, and there was no way for me to there was no point in putting it in the magazine because it wasn't on anymore. Anyway, disappointing. I will see you again. Yes. So, Gene Hackman, Mistress, Tunnels, Cryptic, Writing, Resurrector, does it? Oh, that's a bit scary. Anyway, yes, that's scary as well. I'm still talking, but we've got rats in our house, and that is very, very worrying what happened there. Anyway, hope your week is good. Hope everybody's week is great, and I should probably start working on my show. Aha! Little Circus at Burrito and Shake, 2:30 from the 2nd of August. See, I've got loads of things planned. I know when it is. That's all I know. know, but I know when it is and what it's called. Hooray! See you there, maybe. Can't see me, and maybe I'll do a different show. Maybe you'll be like, I don't want that. Give me something else. It's upside down. And I'll be like, all right then, whatever. It's just you and me. Just you and me. One person in the audience. I'll do it even if there's nobody there. All right then. See you soon. Thank you very much for joining me. See you next week. Bye-bye.